Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jacqueline, and in this video I really wanted to kind of give a little bit of a weight loss update, weight gain, body, the scale, my recovery, and kind of just take you back in time to when I started WW, what was going on, and kind of what led me to where I am right now. I think it's really important to kind of share all this, and I've been very open and honest about all of this, but just to give you a timeline of what's been going on in terms of the struggles, the weight gain, my body, and to let you know where I'm at now, so then we can just keep moving forward and we're kind of all on the same page. So when I started WW, it was in October of 2020. And I was really excited for this because I was ready for a change. I feel like when I started my recovery, it was a very hard time for me because I was uncomfortable with my body, uncomfortable with my weight. I couldn't keep eating the foods that I was eating, whether it was overeating or feeling like I had to just eat the Jenny Craig food. And it was causing a lot of internal struggle within myself. And so when I made the decision to go on WW, I was kind of excited for something new. And I knew right away, because I talked to my therapist, things I had to be aware of, things I had to be mindful of, and thinking I was in a really good spot to start this journey. And when I started and I shared a lot of this, I loved WW. I loved tracking my food. I loved how I felt. I loved the foods I was eating. I loved that I was eating real foods again, that I could eat anything I wanted, and all I had to do was track it. And so from October to kind of December, I was really excited. And I think that was partially because it was new, but I felt relieved that I could maybe lose weight and recover kind of at the same time by doing what I was doing. And because I was so excited with what I was doing, I wasn't truly 100% aware of actually what was going on and how obsessive I was getting with this in terms of the scale, in terms of tracking my food, in terms of what I allowed myself to eat, what I allowed myself to do. And by January, I still wasn't aware that all these obsessive things were happening. I was just like, this is great. I love it. I had lost 30 pounds, since October to January. And I was like, this is going so well. I'm going to keep going. And that's where kind of a little bit of a shift happened, where I started somewhat noticing things are not maybe as good as I think they are, where I was weighing myself multiple times a day. I started not eating all my points, and kind of the thought of if I eat less, maybe I'll lose faster. And I think I think this is the tricky part of recovery and being in a larger body, is why it's hard, just to be put it quite honestly. I was not eating. I started really dropping my calories, what I allowed myself to eat. I was weighing myself multiple times a day, and it just didn't feel good in terms of recovery. And I remember talking to my therapist. This was like beginning of February now. And she said, we really need to take a step back, not from WW or weight loss, because she's very supportive in me and my goals. But again, one of her main concerns is helping me recover. And because all of this was going on, she said, we really need to take a step back and really figure out why you're going to these extremes again of not wanting to eat, weighing yourself 10 times a day. And so the first thing we did is we took away the scale. I stopped weighing myself. And then the second thing I did is I took a week off WW just to kind of hopefully try to reset. And I feel like from that point on, it went completely the opposite way. and I started binging again. I started not being able to control myself, and I was just binging. And then I started gaining weight, and I felt really bad about myself. And so I started eating more, and the more I felt bad about my weight and my body, the more I kept turning to food and I kept gaining weight. And so then it was like those extremes. I went back to the extreme, and I was like, you know what? I told my therapist, this isn't working. I'm gaining weight. I have to go back on WW. And so I started tracking again, and it became completely the other way again of restriction. And honestly, from February, kind of a few months, it was hell. I could not find that middle ground as much as I was trying to find it. It was very much all in or all out for a very long time. And I started trying to practice what I was learning in recovery. I started trying to learn from the experiences I was going through of how does this make me feel? When I binge and turn to food, how does that make me feel? When I completely restrict, how does that make me feel? I was actually living through some of these challenges, but having my therapist there saying, okay, this happened. How did that make you feel? And so this was the first time I've ever really gone through these extremes of restriction and binge, and was very mindful of what was happening. Whether I can control it or stop it, at this point, just being mindful of it was huge for me. I started really saying, you know what? When I binge out and I eat all of this food, I do not physically or mentally feel good. And so a lot of these things were learning experiences where unfortunately you kind of have to live through them to actually know, you know what? I don't like that. I don't feel good. Instead of someone telling you when you binge, you don't feel good, it was more so I was living through these experiences and it didn't feel good. And it was a lot of internal work, a lot of being frustrated with myself because of the weight gain, because I was gaining weight. And it was really hard to kind of say, okay, forget that weight or that weight gain. Focus on in the present moment and what feels good and what doesn't. And so it was a lot of back and forth, but literally my saving grace of what really genuinely helped me was going to Disneyland. But I feel like that was a time where I could go out of my normal routine, and it was like forgetting all of that binge, restrict, recover, don't do this, I should do this, how does it feel, how does it not make me feel? And it put me in an environment where I felt like I didn't have as much of that burden, but it allowed me to actually live and put into practice what I was actually learning, and really focus on it's okay to have a churro, but it's also okay after that to go and have a salad or make sure I'm eating vegetables or fruits or proteins, and putting all of those things I was learning into practice and being like, you know what, this feels good. Knowing I'm allowed to eat what I want when I'm in Disneyland, but I have that control, really opened my eyes to how life should be or how I want it to be, where I was actually living in that middle ground. And then I would come home and it was hard for me to not go to extremes again, because you're in that controlled environment of it's so easy to go one way or another. But I really had to put, you know what, how did I feel in Disneyland? How was that experience of being in that middle ground? And it was really a lot of internal work of going through a lot to help me figure out what was working and what wasn't working. Beginning of this year, I put everything that I learned, everything that I went through, everything I put my body through, my relationship with food, my Disneyland trips, my recovery, my all or nothing, WW, and I really had to focus and say what works and what doesn't. And so where I'm at right now, I just mentally feel like I'm in a different place. And I just feel like a different person, even though I'm heavier, even though I'm in a bigger body, even though I gained weight, even though I'm not comfortable with my body right now. I know that I have been through so much, and that what I need to do right now is to continue to move forward. And I know weighing myself on a scale is not something I'm ready to do yet because of those extremes I go through. And I don't need a number on a scale to keep me accountable or to hold me accountable for my choices or my actions or my decisions, because I'm very good at doing that myself. Even if it might not be a choice or a decision I want to do, like binging or overeating, I'd rather go through those experiences and live through it and realize I don't like this, I need to change this, I need to work on this, than having a number tell me how I should feel or what I should be doing. And that just comes from my own recovery, my own personal experience, my own personal journey, and what works for me. The other thing is I have not, this whole time, been 100% consistent with WW. So I've been on WW all this time, and I would have like a month or two of tracking my food and a month or two of binging, and a month of tracking and then a month of not, and then a day on, a day off. So I haven't been consistent throughout this whole last year. And I feel like I'm actually in a spot where I know what works, I know what doesn't work, I know what I need to be aware of. And I feel like this past month and a half has really shifted for me. Like I definitely feel like a different person, where I actually feel like I can work on recovery, track on WW, and still keep weight loss as a goal. So the goal never changed. Weight loss has always been a goal, just like recovery is the whole goal. But the way I'm going about it, or the way last year went, 100% honest, was not 100% just focused on weight loss. And that's why maybe you haven't seen me lose weight or my body change, because there was so much else that was going into it behind the scenes. So technically, yes, I've been on WW, but I have not been consistent. And I feel like now, with everything I've been through, I'm at a place right now where I'm ready to take care of myself in a different way again, to not sit here and promise myself or you that I'm going to be 100% consistent, and I'm not going to binge, and I'm not going to restrict, and I'm going to be on WW, and I'm going to lose all this weight, because I can't make that promise. But the only promise that I can make to myself and to you is that I'm never going to give up. I'm never going to stop trying. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from this, is we're all going to fall down. We're all going to slip up. We're all going to have moments where we feel like we failed, because trust me, I don't think there's a day that goes by that I don't think, if I just stayed on WW, even though it was restrictive, even though I wasn't okay and healthy, where would I be now? And that's something that haunts me every single day, but it's also something I have to let go of in order to move forward. And I think that's a big lesson for a lot of us, is no matter if weight loss is a goal or not, no matter the choices, the decisions, if we've gained weight, even though we've been trying to lose weight, it matters is we keep moving forward and we keep trying our best. Because weight loss is still very important to me. But like I said, my brain with where I'm at is not 100% mentally okay to just do weight loss in a typical way or a healthy way, because recovery is also a huge part of what I need to go through. That's where I'm at right now. I've been tracking for the last month and a half. I feel really good with my food choices. I feel really good with my workouts. I just feel like I'm in a really good place right now, where unfortunately I had to go through some of those experiences of last year to really learn from them and actually go through it, to figure out what I like, what I don't like, what's working, what doesn't work, and really where I need to focus my healing and recovery. I'm just going to continue to move forward. I'm going to bring you guys along with me, share the ups and downs, the highs, the lows, and that's why it's so important, because this is a journey. It's not just, okay, I'm going to lose weight and it's a linear line, as much as I wish it was. It's full of ups and downs and bumps in the road, and just like you on your own journey, it's going to be filled with ups and downs and bumps in the road. But I hope that you know that we're here and doing this together, that you're not alone, and that no matter what, all we can focus on is what we do right now to keep moving forward. If you ever need anything, if you're struggling on your own journey, please reach out. I appreciate your support so much, and I want to give that back to you as well, as much as I can. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're not, make sure you're subscribed, because I have a lot of fun videos coming up. I want to share more recipes, more of my workouts. I know a lot of you have been requesting more workout videos, so I want to do more of those. And so anything you want to see from me as well, let me know in the comments, and I'll try to get those filmed too. So thank you so much for watching. Give this video a like if you like this sort of content, and to share kind of my weight loss recovery updates and progress. And I will talk to you real soon.